And tonight, the crew of Covered in Film, myself, and that guy, we will be reviewing That 70s Show Meets Yellowstone's 2006's The Guardian.
Is that what it is? That
The,
70s show meets Yellowstone. Good one.
yeah. Um, this movie is about a guy who likes water and he tries to kill people in it. And eventually he becomes a sea monster and Ashton Kutcher wins the Olympics.
And his name is The Guardian.
The Guardian. So really, this movie is about Kevin Costner being a guardian, because he works for the Coast Guard and he is estranged from his wife, and she makes him want to go save people from the ocean because he hates her so much. And
Does not want to spend time at home alone with her.
Ashton Kutcher's like, I'm a cool kid. I'll show you, old man.
I might
And
be from the South. I might not.
yeah, and then he dies in the end, and that's the movie.
Ashton Kutcher does?
Yep, spoilers. We spoil things in this. Kevin
Spoiler
Costner
alert.
does not make it to the end of the movie.
I don't
So,
think he dies, though.
what?
I don't think he dies. He's like a butterfly. He forms a cocoon and becomes a merman.
Yeah, basically. That guy said he saw him. He said he saw
That's
something.
right. He said he wouldn't let go.
He was there with me the whole time. I talked to him.
He gave me mail from the postman. That was a Kevin Costner movie. All right.
That's a different movie. He also danced
That's all
with
I
some
got.
wolves. So if you liked this, then you'll like our other episodes. Like and subscribe. Have a good night.
Hit that. No. Oh, okay. All right. Shortest episode ever. And we're out. So, what
No,
were you
but
saying about
seriously,
racism taking good?
racism tasting good.
Yes.
We're still recording. Uh, what do you think
Oh,
of the
shucks.
way Kevin Costner moves his mouth around? Do you Did you watch Yellowstone?
We tried to get into it and just didn't. But I've seen plenty of Kevin Costner movies. He does move his mouth around, and
I
it
feel like
does
he's
look kind of
mastered
like a
it.
puckered butthole.
He's he's really mastered it in Yellowstone, and it like embodies his whole character. It's just like what's he doing
Like,
with his mouth at the time?
why doesn't he just have a toothpick in his mouth for what give it the accessory it deserves, dude.
Right. But now anytime I watch him, and I watched him in this movie, and I was like, oh yeah, young Kevin Costner, not as good of an actor yet, but still very good. And he's moving his mouth around, but I can tell not as much. And that must be what makes the actor in Kevin Costner is he was like, I'm gonna go home, practice doing this in the mirror.
Moving the
And
mouth around.
it
I
took him
don't know,
until
dude.
about the
I
70s.
saw one of the IMDb reviews says I didn't read the whole thing, but the first sentence is this starts Kevin Costner's comeback, and I thought, did it though? Did it? I mean, I guess, dude. It made $95 million in the box office. $70 million budget, made 95. Kevin Costner's had a very interesting career.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
Has. I mean, he's still going.
No, I thought he
Um,
died. No, he didn't. He didn't die. He didn't
he
die.
didn't die. Why would you do that? The
For the
Guardian.
fuck of it.
The Guardian.
You have the Guardian.
So I don't know if it's appropriate to really talk about that too much while being recorded. But
Why not?
uh is that your favorite Blockbuster story?
No.
What is?
My favorite Blockbuster story. You know, it was pretty fun when I was at Bilko's
I knew you
getting
were gonna say this.
hammered drunk, hammered drunk, and I get a call that a car has run through our gigantic window. And I thought, I can't just let me not show up and deal with this, which should have been what I thought. I should have thought, they've got it. I don't need to get involved. And then I came back and was like, why am I here?
I
That was pretty
remember
fun.
I remember what you
Hero
did
clicks
because
in the back room.
I was the one who was there and I had to deal with all the bullshit. And I remember here's my boss showing up to maybe take over so I can go home. And instead, there's like a big hole in the side of the building, and he stands on the outside of it while I'm standing on the inside, and I'm literally cleaning up glass. And he peeks his head in and he goes, "Hey, you should pick this up." And I was just like, yeah,
A funny fucking guy right there.
yep, that was you.
Yeah. Hero clicks in the back room.
Mhm.
I don't know what happened. Watching Dave for no reason at all telling a customer, "Yeah, I believe when you die, you're just dead. There's nothing left." And being like, "Hey, cut that out and thank you. Have a good day." What the fuck are you doing?
Dave was my first like weird employee that I ever worked with, you know?
Yeah.
Um so that was my first job and that was the first weird person I worked with. John was kind of weird.
I kind of work with Dave 20 years, like even 20 years older than he is now. Right now, I kind of have he's not that bad, but I can see definite similarities. It's interesting.
I have a guy who I guess now that you say that and I try and like imagine two different guys, one all the bad parts about Dave, one all the good parts about Dave. Bad one, not there anymore, got rid of him. But the good one just says stuff like, I don't know what happened, but it's always funny and he knows it, but he also knows he's kind of weird and he just says weird stuff and he's great.
Those are the best.
Yeah.
Those are the best. I'm weird, but I'm gonna embrace it and not get too far with it. Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Not to like I hope he doesn't, if he were to ever watch this, I hope he would take this the right way. But like to give an example, we were talking about the Zodiac killer one time. He was like, "Oh yeah, when I was growing up, I thought for sure he might be my dad." And I was like, "Really?" And I just started laughing. And he's like, "No, no, really. Like the Zodiac killer had a specific kind of shoes, and only 300 or so pair were ever made for the public. And my dad had those. He was right around the same age, like same build, and he'd go missing sometimes at night. And it's just, you know, my sister and I would talk about it,
Wow.
but he's just like
Wow.
laughing, and then he's like, "We decided later that it probably wasn't him, but at the time."
Yeah. But oddly enough, once the killing stopped, he actually died. It's pretty
But
yeah, crazy.
yeah, he just says shit like that all the time. Anyways, what do
Interesting.
you rate this movie?
Um Based on the fact that some of my notes are this is not a good movie. Who wrote this shit? And the line who's the name up there who's got all them records? This movie's a D minus for me. This movie is
Wow.
I did not enjoy it. I found the writing to be horrible. I found Kutcher to be just come on, give me a fucking break, dude. Like if you want people to believe you're a real actor, is this is what you're gonna do? This And yeah, Costner was trying a little too hard. Clancy Brown, though, brings it up from that F. Way to go, Clancy Brown. 330 movie credit, or not movie credits, acting credits to his name. Mr. Krabs, the Kurgan. Gotta love Clancy Brown. But yeah, D minus. Don't watch this movie. Don't fucking bother. Immediately, my first note, 2 seconds in, and I already wish I was watching Men of Honor, a much better movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Robert De Niro.
Why that one?
That's a good movie. That's a better movie
That's
than
that's
this.
why.
Yeah.
Like what about the 2 seconds, 2 minutes into this movie? What part of this movie was like, oh, Man of Honor? That's what I would rather be watching. Like
Oh,
what
I was just like, oh,
triggered
I'd
that?
rather because it's the guy teaching the next generation about this crazy water-based career you're going to have, and it was about the first kind of deep sea divers, and Robert De Niro was a grizzled old diver, and here comes Cuba Gooding Jr., this upstart. It's just a good movie. I liked Men of Honor. I thought it was pretty good. This movie, not so much.
Because the first 2 minutes of this movie weren't that bad. He punches that guy in the face who's trying to drown his wife. Uh, so I
Yes, he
guess
does.
when you say
You broke
that,
my nose.
when you say that, people must be thinking like, why did they even pick this movie? Maybe we should talk a little bit about that. So why don't you tell the story?
This was a big fucking movie. This just kind of goes to show you, or at least it goes to show me. Don't mind if I go off on a rant here, not to steal Dennis, whatever. Um, People will watch the dumbest shit. People, they put out garbage in movie form, and people go, "Oh yeah, it's great. I love it. I love it." Streaming service has absolutely clinched it, and now people will just watch shit because it flashes lights and things move and people say fucking shit. It's awful. So this comes out and captivates the nation. And oh my God, we really need a story about the Coast Guard and these two actors. You got the everybody's favorite Kevin Costner, and who's this new Ashton Kutcher guy? He's on that TV show where he plays an idiot. Um, so
That's
it comes
actually
out.
what he did.
Yeah, it comes out. It takes up an entire wall, a bay at Blockbuster. If you know anything about Blockbuster, new release wall. Sometimes you've got full bay movies. Like we've got 300 copies of this movie, and it's going to be gone by 6 p.m. on Friday night. So don't fuck around. And this was one of them. And for some reason, in Napa, I think it was the first night it came out. Uh, this is this story any good? Anyway,
It's a
this
good story.
young gentleman comes up to me, Hispanic gentleman. That's what it was. He's with his wife or girlfriend or whatever it may have been, and he very earnestly asked me, "You have a deguardian?" And I went, "The what now?" And he said the Guardian, and I thought, oh, that's exactly what I would call this if I didn't pronounce it Guardian. Yeah, I got the Guardian. Here you go, right here.
And
And he
then
rented it, and he never brought it back, and we charged him $800 in late fees.
and then later
Repossessed his house.
that story became like a thing between Ben and I at work. He told me the story and I latched onto it. And then we just walk around the store being like, you have a deguardian?
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then eventually Ben left that Blockbuster to go to a different Blockbuster, but we'd still
I sure did.
call each other and ask things like, hey, do you guys have this movie? I'm going to send them down the street to you or something like that. And we had this new person working at the one that I still worked at, and Ben called to talk to me. And the other person answered the phone. He's like, I'm going to mess with her a little bit. And he says, you have a deguardian? And she says, what? And he says it again, and she goes, "How do you spell it?" And he says, "Guar Jin." And she looks at me at that point, and then he's like, "Is Russ there?" And it was just a really good moment in time. And but neither of
Uh,
us had ever actually watched the movie, and we'd had this
no.
stupid, childish story, and
Yep.
felt like giving
Yeah,
it a
never
shot,
saw it.
and
First viewing.
absolutely hated it. D minus. I'm gonna say it's not that bad. I would give
What
it
was it
a
you texted
C.
me? This movie is something.
Yes, that is what I said. I'm gonna give it a C. It's it's watchable. It's kind of like a Hallmark movie with a slightly bigger budget and a bit of a different kind of plot for them, but something that you can put on and then just be like, okay. Like if it just ended on a happy note and he didn't die, it would really be a Hallmark movie if he like got back together with his wife and lived happily ever
You know,
after.
they have an alternate ending where he held on to his fingertips. He did live, and they said, "Nah, not as impactful. Kill him." Is the big chill all over again?
Not as impactful. Kill him. I'll probably never watch this again unless Sonia makes me because she actually enjoyed the movie. If I had to guess, she'd probably give it a
Aw.
B. Um,
Well, I'm sorry I said all that about people who enjoy this movie.
I thought
Sonia
the
being the exception,
I
a
thought the
very
big
bright and discerning person.
she'll probably not watch this, but yes, she is
Got it.
very smart.
Well,
Um,
yes.
I thought the beginning of the movie was fine, and the ending of the movie was fine. It was the middle that was really bad for me. Ashton Kutcher and his training and how long it took and the two different montages that for some reason when they did a montage in 2006 on this movie only, they were like, let's use a camera from 1998 and
Right.
for
They
the
do like a weird whole uh, like you're in with this crazy team doing home movie. It's like, why are you switching up the format of this? Just
right,
make it a regular movie. Yeah, it did
the
not give
whole
the feel like you're a part of it.
the whole rest of the movie is filmed on a video camera from 2006, and then for the montages specifically they were like, let's get your 8-year-old nephew's camera that you got him for Christmas that one year and have him run around
And your
this
8-year-old nephew to shoot it.
pool. Yeah. Yeah. And like just focus on 13 dudes in a swimming pool that you swam in high school. Like,
Yep.
and that was a lot of the movie, and it really wasn't very good. And Ashton Kutcher is not that great of an actor, and he especially had not come into his own yet at this time. And
Bro, when he breaks down, when Costner finds the swim team dies in a fiery crash, and he's like, and he's all breaking down. It's bad.
yeah,
Like that's the take the director used. Could I don't know, dude.
that whole
It,
time though,
ugh.
it goes back between him doing that and to Kevin Costner leaning back in his chair, just like moving his mouth around. Uh
Right, yeah. Yeah,
huh.
you think you're gonna save people, motherfucker? You may have saved 4 people, but you can't really say I what? The
I'll
one,
let you know when I find out.
that's one of the good things that a lot of this movie is very cliche and contrite and uses a lot of tropes, none of which I like. But when he does that first time when he doesn't save Mr. Musclebound Jerk, and he's like, "Why didn't you save him? I thought you wanted to save lives. I didn't know we were working as a team." And said that's the only way we can do this, or whatever he said. I'm like, that's a real lesson for real life. Like, if you're not in for the team, then get the fuck out of the pool. That's one of the only redeeming qualities of this movie.
Yeah, there was some good like advice points or what the message that they were trying to instill at certain points was good. Um, yeah,
All
let's
them
move.
records.
Let's move on to other movies from 2006. Kind of a weird
Okay.
year. I feel like we've done some really awesome years recently where there was an infinite amount of movies to pick from. Took me a while to actually find a solid list of good movies from 2006, but I feel like I picked out some good ones.
Okay. Just
Slither.
real quick, we are going to circle back to more of this movie being shitty, right? Because I got a few things.
Yes, there's plenty. Actually, one of my questions is what's the worst part of this movie? So we'll come back to that.
Oh, wow.
Unless you want to just no, we'll come back to that. Other movies from 2006. Slither came out this year. Nobody ever
No,
talks about that movie anymore. I don't think
no.
most people would even know what it is, but it was pretty great. And it was totally unique and it's still pretty one of a kind. Um
I
kind
would
of a new
agree.
new take on horror.
And kind of
Uh
tongue in cheek to where they wink at the camera, like we know we're in a crazy horror movie, so we're gonna have fun with it. I feel like movies like this, The Guardian, like straddle that line, but they don't want to wink at the camera, but they're trying to be serious. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, what else you got from '06? What else came
the
out in
pres-
'06?
the Prestige came out, which, click the link.
Click the
Um
link. Bam. Masterpiece hosted by Joseph D. Morgan. What's the D stand for? D's nuts. Wow. Wow. Crickets.
good job.
Crickets.
Um
I want a little soundboard so I can do applause and laughter and clapping and shit.
you could, I mean,
Right,
yay.
but no, it'd be cooler if I just hit a
Um
button and it was like fart sound, laser beam, pew pew. All right,
The Prestige, great movie. It's about magicians.
and Scarlett
300.
Johansson.
300 came
Right?
out.
Does that
Um
movie like? Will you ever watch the 300 again?
I don't think so. I don't like it came out at this moment in time where for
Yeah,
some reason you really wanted to watch it and now I
fuck yeah,
have zero desire to watch that movie.
yeah. It was great. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And the second time I watched it, I was like, "Oh, I probably won't watch this movie again."
Yeah.
But great
Like
job on that first watch through. But
I mean they killed it on the marketing, getting people hyped
yes,
up for it to come out, but
absolutely.
stylistically it's just filmed in a weird way that doesn't stand the test. It's kind of filmed like Watchmen, but Watchmen
The
is
Watchmen's really
rewatchable.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frank Miller did it. You ever watch The Spirit that Frank Miller did? Have you ever subjected yourself to watching The Spirit with Samuel L.
I
Jackson
don't think so.
and even Mendez is in that? You might like it. It's fucking awful. It's awful. It's so whacked out. He took Will Eisner's beloved
Oh no.
comic and made just an absolute dog shit movie. Anyway,
I have not seen it. Um
don't
I just looked
skip
at
it.
the picture of it. I barely even remember it coming out, but I do remember the
Yeah,
picture. Uh
skip it.
M- Mission Impossible 3 came out this year.
Which one's is that the one with Tom Cruise?
Yep. That's the one with
Okay.
Tom Cruise and our favorite actor from Talented Mr. Ripley.
Matt Damon? Jude Law.
Nope.
I saw Instagram threw me a the scene where Jude Law asks him what his talent is, and he says he can impersonate anybody, and then starts impersonating Jude Law's dad. And I remember thinking when I watched it and when I watched the clip, not really that good.
No,
You're
he's
not
not
that
that good at it.
you're not that good. Like
Mm,
Jude Law faking being into you is way more convincing than your actual. Anyway,
but it was Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's great.
Right. Yeah, I knew that.
Um,
I was just joshing around.
Casino Royale came out this year.
Boom. Good movie.
Apocalypto, Mel Gibson, kind of starting his journey into being more than a weirdo. Um,
All these blockbuster movies, it's brings back memories.
I know. And then Grandma's Boy came out this year.
Oh my God. I almost picked Grandma's Boy last time. Like
Yeah.
I could probably go on about Grandma's Boy. It's got some good funny ass shit in there.
So it's funny when I was trying to do the research and I typed in 2006 movies. Those were like, my screen's full of things. Those were the best things I could find. And then
Isn't
I
it?
typed I typed in later, doing like a little more research. I type in Best Picture 2007, which is a movie
Uh,
from 2006. It's The fucking Departed, and I'm like, where was that when I typed in movies from 2006? It's throwing out so many bad things that I had to wade through, like Bring It On and She's the Man and just other bullshit. Yeah,
It's like, did I
Departed
type
was
in the
nowhere.
worst movies of '06?
Yeah, I
Wow.
don't I don't so maybe there's a lot of other good movies, but Departed was happens to also be on the list. By the way,
Nice.
click the link. It's a one we did.
Yeah, The Departed.
Departed.
It's a wicked
Deputed.
piss of a show.
Uh the director,
Mm,
Andrew Davis. What do you know about him?
not a fucking thing. What else did he do?
So he kind of does the same movies over and over. He did two with Steven Seagal, by the way. But Under
Two
Siege.
good ones or two of the later ones? Under Siege. So the first Under Siege, Die Hard on a Train. That's what that movie is. It's Die Hard on a Train with Steven Seagal
Yeah,
instead of Bruce Willis.
yeah, and the other one, I don't even remember what it was. It wasn't as good. Oh, Above the Law was what it was.
Right. Those 3 word Seagals when he was first coming out had this like nostalgic quantity. Out to Kill, all those were, pretty decent.
So he also did Chain Reaction. Do you remember that movie?
Keanu Reeves and Morgan Freeman.
Yep.
Cold Fusion. Yeah,
He
I remember
did
that movie.
he did Code of Silence. Do you remember that? It's 1985 with
No.
Chuck Norris just running
Well,
around
that's
with a
why I don't
gun.
remember it.
Um he did The Fugitive. He
Oh, okay.
did
All right.
A Perfect
It
Murder.
wasn't me. It was the one armed man. He did what? A Perfect Murder?
Yeah. Which
Okay.
I I remember watching A Perfect Murder a long time ago I think when I was a kid or something. My mom watched it, and I actually thought like, wow, this is really smart. That is a really perfect murder. And I watched it again for the first time as an adult like a year ago, and I was like, this movie is dumb. Like Kurt Douglas is
Uh,
great, but whatever. Um,
yeah. It's
Collateral
Michael Douglas.
Damage. Michael Douglas, sorry. Sorry, Kurt Russell. You look a lot like Michael
No, you
Douglas.
said Kurt Douglas. That's his dad.
I just combining people.
You're just going
Um,
crazy.
where Collateral Damage, Arnold Schwarzenegger. This guy just loves trying to make a bad action movie kind of thing. And then finally, Disney's Holes with Shia LaBeouf. Do you
Hmm.
remember Holes?
Adapted from the beloved novel. I definitely remember Holes. At least a few of them. Oh,
What do you mean?
I will not expand on that.
Uh, Kevin
I'll tell you in
Costner.
the after show.
You tell
Joey
me about
Gausner.
Kevin Costner.
Oh, Kevin Costner.
Accosting
I
Kevin.
mean, Lieutenant Dunbar, man. That's he will forever be Dances with Wolves. Made one of my favorite movies of all time. Also made The Postman, which was like a 3 hour fucking snore fest of a holy shit. Well known for the Waterworld debacle, which, you know, didn't
That's prob
age great, but I really enjoy parts of that movie.
I love Waterworld. Love it.
Yeah, it's got that thing to it. He's only got 66 acting credits. I feel like he's way bigger than that, but only 66. He definitely had a career of ups and downs where he had some weird choices. Uh, but I thought
He's
one
like
of the ones when he was, huh?
he's kind of like Nicolas Cage if he most of the time stayed on the good path, whereas
Right.
Nicolas
But
Cage is like, I'm most of the time gonna pick the wrong movie.
it was funny. I just saw again. Instagram gives me all my entertainment news now, but he was on the Stephen Colbert show, and Stephen Colbert asked him what his 5 favorite Nicolas Cage movies were, and he said Pig is his favorite movie he's ever made. Kind of made me want to watch it.
I feel like somebody talked about Pig recently. Was it Joe talked about Pig or
Definitely not. Joe doesn't have taste.
no? You're right. Somebody talked about it. Maybe it was John. But yeah, maybe we should
John
do
has
that one
taste.
next. You can pick it.
Maybe we won't, but maybe.
You totally left out Robin Hood and the Bodyguard, and the
Right,
Bodyguard
Robin.
brought us
Love
the
what?
Bodyguard brought us a song.
Oh, dude, the soundtrack. My mom listened to that soundtrack for like 2 years fucking straight. 2 years straight. It drove me crazy. Not a fan of The Bodyguard, but do love Robin Hood Men and or Prince of Thieves. I've thought of picking it a number of times.
Yeah, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is
Again,
great.
Alan
Robin
Rickman.
Hood, Men in Tights, gotta give it to that movie too.
Right.
Um, Ashton Kutcher. Aside
Yep.
from that '70s show, Two and a Half Men, and Punked, what is your
Fucking
favorite thing that he has done?
fucking punked, dude. Jesus, this guy. I'm pretty sure it's smart investing in .coms and apps and shit. And he's actually smart for like science. Like he was gonna be a scientist. But then somebody was like, those fucking cheekbones could cut glass. You've got to get on TV. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'll do that. I don't know. You'd have to name some things. Like, what else has Ashton Kutcher been in?
So there's only two movies that I've seen him in that I thought he was good in.
Hmm.
Um, one of them's very recent. I think it's a Netflix original. It's a BJ Novak film called Vengeance. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Super good. He plays a villain in it, and he's a very interesting and different villain, and I think you would
I do
love him
kind of
in
want
it.
to see it.
He's definitely like grown up as an actor quite a bit from where he was, and he has a
Hmm.
good accent and a very different kind of character. But I think
Unlike this movie.
his best movie where he's the main actor, probably Butterfly Effect.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Hey, that's a great blockbuster story. So I'm in Sonoma. You probably do you know this one? It's so fucking cringy. Dude, that movie came out and I was like, oh my God, it's so engrossing and captivating. Like, great job with this fucking movie. And so this older lady comes in and she's like, can you recommend a movie to me? And I hate that because they never like what you recommend ever. And I was like, you know what? I recommend this. And if you don't like it, I'll give it to you for free. She brought it in the next day, and the look she gave me, she did not enjoy it. And I was like, was it the pedophilia? Uh, Butter- Butterfly Effect is a rough movie, but man, it's pretty fucking good.
It's a good movie. It's been forever since I've seen it, but I do
Yeah,
remember it being pretty good.
I remember for a while I would put it on while I was closing. Like as I was taking
Really?
down the tills, I would put it on. Yep.
Get to the part where he performs stigmata on himself and
And then time to
oh
go home. We got to drive home from Sonoma to Fairfield. Here we go, working at Blockbuster, making good life choices.
yeah. Neil McDonough. Is that how you say his last name? McDonough? Uh
Neil McDonough, old
he is
McDonald.
white hair guy with the big smile. Like not gray hair, but he's always had just bright white hair ever since. He's just blonde, super blonde, the short blonde hair.
Oh, Buck Compton.
Yeah. Um,
Yes, yes. I don't know his real name. He is always Buck Compton to me.
is that the Band of Brothers character?
Yes.
That's the only thing that he's done that I like really
He's
think
been
of
in
at all.
tons of shit though. Tons of
Yeah.
shit.
He,
But
so
yeah, bet he
he's also in Yellowstone, and I've watched Yellowstone. I do think it's a good
no.
show, and he is good
Okay.
in it. He's also, and when I say it, it might click in your head, but he's one of the main villains in Walking Tall. Do you remember that movie?
Oh yeah, I mean I I don't remember the movie, but I remember The Rock in his early career getting to star in this revamp of an old 70s fucking shit kicker movie.
With Johnny Knoxville. The Rock and
Yeah,
Johnny Knoxville are the
right.
main characters in a movie. And
Early rock movies are interesting, like The Rundown and
yeah,
you know what really catapulted him was the fucking the football movie where he took care of the little girl.
what movie was that?
I'm allergic to cinnamon.
Oh, it's Fast and Furious. Yeah, that's it.
That's the one. That's the one with the little girl. Yes, where she's a
The
bank
the
robber and a
game
car driver.
plan. The game plan.
The game plan. Remember that? You know, funny enough, the pacifier with Vin Diesel coming out around the same time. And then they both would go on to star in the Fast and the Furious with those kids.
Uh,
Crazy.
yeah.
Crazy how this world is.
John Hurd. He's another one who
What?
like John Hurd. You
Say
know,
it again?
did you hear me? Um, like you see his
No.
face just like Neil McDonough, and you're like, I've seen that guy in a lot of things. And I was like, where do I know his face from? He's the dad in Home Alone when they first
Oh
come
yeah,
and
yeah,
knock on
yeah,
the
yeah.
door.
He's been in tons of shit too. Yeah, he's also
Yeah.
in Big, one of my favorite Tom Hanks movies.
Yes.
He's I don't get that. I don't get that. Yeah, he's the fucking dickhead in that. He'll always be that dude for me.
He also plays George in Sharknado.
Okay, never saw it.
Me neither, but I googled it today. That's really all I got on him.
Okay.
Uh, Kevin Costner's wife, Celia Ward,
Yep.
she was in The Day After Tomorrow. That's like really all she's done. She was also,
Was she?
yeah, she was like not the main
Doesn't
female
matter. That
lead.
movie's horseshit.
Yeah,
Roland Emmerich movies should be stricken from the record.
it's a terrible movie. I do think that she's one of the characters that has to run away from CGI wolves at, that are terrorizing Manhattan or wherever it is. Um,
Terrorizing. So
she,
I was going through her filmography I was like, where do I know her from? And I said it right before we started recording. What was it? She's the wife of somebody in one movie.
she's the president in Independence Day 2.
Oh yeah. That is funny.
Is it The
That is funny.
Fugitive? Because she's in The Fugitive.
Yes, that's right. That's right. She's only in there for a little bit, but yep, she's the wife in The Fugitive.
Yeah, and then Melissa Sage Miller. She's the girlfriend to Ashton Kutcher, and she
Wasn't in anything else.
sucks. She only ever did one other thing, and she
Mr.
was in
Woodcock.
Mr. Woodcock, a Billy Bob
That's
Thornton movie, which
which I have
automatically means
seen.
it's garbage.
Uh,
How was
I
Mr.
don't know,
Woodcock?
Sling Blade. I don't remember it at all. That's like that's one of those movies that came out in that whole era of I feel like American Pie spawned these movies where it was like just put young 20 somethings in there and make it vaguely sexual and it'll be a hit. And it's just a stream of movies for half a decade that were like, give me a fucking break.
Yeah, I mean, he had his time. Monsters Ball. We he gave us something we all imagine, and
Enel with Halle Berry. Yeah, I guess.
I guess,
Yeah.
and
Sling
he
Blade's
did
really good. I know
he
that's one
did
of his
do Sling
earliest,
Blade,
but Sling Blade's
and
actually a really good fucking movie.
but then he's just like Bad Santa, Mr. Woodcock. I'm just gonna be this angry piece of shit who gets to go home to Angelina Jolie. Um,
Yeah, she's gonna wear a vial of my blood around her neck.
yeah,
They
what the
must have had some crazy good times. Emphasis on the crazy.
yeah. Um, they
He's
that
gonna hunt us
reminds
down
me.
now.
Their relationship reminds me of Tom Green and Drew Barrymore, and
Yeah,
how at the time, like I thought Drew Barrymore was a normal person and Tom Green was a crazy person. And then Tom Green breaks up with her because she's too crazy. And I was like,
yep.
what? And then
Oh, how the turntables have turned.
yeah, and then I come to find out that, oh yeah, she is more crazy than Tom Green, the guy who terrorized his parents for an MTV late night show. Like
I feel
grew
like,
up in bags, got his testicles removed on like whatever he could do to
yeah,
just
cancerous testicles. I mean, he had a reason to. I remember on the cruise ship for one of the MTV summers where he just made the cruise life on the cruise ship just hell. He would keep trying to interview him. I remember him doing a, "Can I pretend this garbage can is R2D2 and rub my bum bum on him?" And this waiter with a drink, and he's just like, "No." He doesn't obviously does not understand what he's saying, but is just no. Yeah, Tom Green, whatever happened to him? Nobody cares.
nobody
No,
cares.
somebody cares.
No,
Just not me.
nobody cares. So I've got a couple other random questions, but I know you wanted to talk shit about this movie some more. So what was the worst part of this movie, Ben?
The worst part, I mean, let me just start by saying no disrespect to the Coast Guard, but I feel like this movie is very disrespectful to the Coast Guard because it sucks so fucking bad. Like, they deserve a better movie. Hopefully, they've gotten it by now. Um, I mean, what a great opportunity when he lets the glove go and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna fall back to the sea." There was that boat still down there. He could have been impaled. It could have been really fucking gruesome. Like it would have been completely out of place, but whatever. Honestly, when they show up to the school, Kutcher's fucking acting when they show up to the school is awful for about 20 minutes. Just why is this what the director chose to put in there? He's fucking awful. He's trying to come off way too cocky. When the muscle guy gets kicked out and he grabs the other dude's shit from the top bunk, puts it on the bottom bunk. What are you doing? I got you your bunk back. It's like you fucking idiot. The first 60 minutes and the second 60 minutes, I would have to say, sequentially, are the worst parts of this movie.
What about was there anything good? Was there a part in there like between the 60 minutes for like 15 minutes or 10 or maybe like 30 seconds that was good?
What was the good parts in this movie? Um, you know, it was really cliche. I said one the earlier thing. It was really cliche, but when the dude elbows Buck Compton in the nose and then drags him back, and finally, after his third time coming to this diving school, gets past this one exercise that he can never do. Like I knew Buck was gonna come over there and hug him and shit, but I was like, all right, this is a scene you needed in this movie. Is this kid like, fuck yeah, I finally did it, and then he's not in the movie for the rest of the movie. It's like you just got me invested in this character. Where does he go? We don't need more Kutcher.
I never even thought about that, but yeah, they
Yeah,
do
he's
this whole
gone.
thing
Oh,
about
he
you thinking
finally.
they could have just kicked him off and you would have never cared, but they're like, no, 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 we're gonna make you want this character. And then they're like, all right, we're done with him. Now
Yep,
that you do like him.
yep.
All right, so could you do this for a living? This has got to be up there in like
Oh my god,
the
you'd
one of
have to
the
be
hardest
so
things.
physically fit. Just
But
like
just on like a fear level, is this something you could do?
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I could
No,
do this.
swimming, like I love being in the water, but the choppy seas, I mean, how quick are you like, are there fucking sharks around? It's funny, I watched a bunch of it with Gabe, and when the
are,
explosions go
are
off, he's
there
like, "Oh,"
sharks?
he'd be like, "These waters would be so full of sharks. Those explosions would bring them all. They'd feel it, and yeah, the waters would be super full of
I
sharks
don't
after
think
that."
that's how sharks work.
I mean, he's pretty fucking knowledgeable about sharks. I gotta admit.
I don't know.
That was
There, I
another really
was.
shitty part. The helicopter goes down and immediately explodes. It's like, does it? Does it?
Does it? Um, I could do this before I could work in an emergency room.
Yeah, no, not me. I can work in emergency room first.
Yeah, I could do this before a few things, but anything involving surgery or constantly looking at a gaping wound and having to like be the person to fix it or something, like I could put a like I could come up with a makeshift cast and put it around something and like help somebody walk out of a wilderness or something like that. But I'm not gonna be cutting you open and fixing.
Where do you stand on like Doctor Pimple Popper shit?
You know, I I know there's some people who are really into it and some people who are really disgusted by it. I'm kind of like that balance where it's disgusting, but it's also very like you can feel the relief when you see it.
Mm,
Like, oh, that looks like that would feel so good to finally get rid of that. Some
yeah,
of them, the
I
the
can see
big
that.
boils are pretty gross, but the one that just looks like
Oh,
pressure, like
yuck.
when you just get rid of some pressure, like a good
Yeah,
blackhead.
Kelly will watch that shit. I can't do it. I cannot
My
fucking do
mom
it.
will just no shame watch it for an hour straight while we're
Yeah.
having like Thanksgiving together as a family. And she doesn't want to listen to whatever we're talking about. She just popper doesn't even like put her phone at an angle where we can't see it. It's just face like flat. So anyone who wants to look at her phone can just watch her look at pimples
Ugh,
getting popped.
no, thank you.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't like me sharing that. But um what's the most important branch of the military and where does this fall in it for you?
I can I don't know if I can answer that. The U.S. military is all important.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to the troops for your sacrifice. The
Uh-huh.
Coast Guard guards our coast and, picks up swimmers. Dude, when he goes on that ship and he saves the three guys and he's like, I'm going below for the captain. How many first dive rescue swimmers do you think get killed because they want to play the fucking hero? That he killed the captain and himself, and in the end didn't kill himself. He killed Kevin Costner. You dumb motherfucker, dude. You dumb dummy.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
then he learned all of Kevin Costner's things where like you just got to let some of them go
that's right. He's like, I'm absorbing your knowledge,
by killing you.
and then I'm
You
gonna kill
dumb,
you.
dumb dummy. Well, I'll tell you
Dumb
which one's the
dummy.
most important. It's definitely the Navy, and the least important is definitely the Coast Guard. But
Why does the Navy get the top?
because our
Because
nuclear
Top Gun?
subs
Oh,
and
oh.
the Navy has like it's got a small portion of Air Force and it's got Marines and stuff. So,
All right. Just admit it, though. It's because of the Village People song in the Navy. That's what really makes you love it.
plus ships are cool. I love ships.
Ships are cool.
But when you really think about it, is the Coast Guard really in the military or is it just law enforcement?
Ships are cool. You know, I think people in the Coast Guard would say it is, and people in the military probably say, "Get away from the table, you little shit." Um, yeah, I don't know. It's its own kind of branch. It is the USCG. It gets the US before it, just like the MC. And
So if it was knocked down to law enforcement, is it the most important branch of law enforcement? And if not, which one is?
probably SWAT teams, right? Yeah. Or the DEA. I don't know. The DEA is fighting a losing battle every day, and that seems very sad. The CIA? I just watched Sicario again the other day. I know I mentioned it in one of our chats, but
Mhm.
haven't seen that movie. Always think I should watch Sicario again. I loved paying attention and getting more of that movie this time. It's a good
Mhm.
movie.
Really good movie.
Really good.
Is it the
Del
police?
Toro is fucking sick in it. Just sick. Anyway.
I mean, that movie's hardcore.
Yep.
At the end, when he kills his whole family and then
Uh-huh.
kills him, it's like, God damn.
Yep. Yep. Burned his daughter in acid. You're not getting away. You're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie is hardcore in a way where you appreciate it though.
Yep.
Have you watched the second
Unlike
one?
this movie.
Day of the
I never
Soldado?
did. Is it any good?
Yeah, really good. Not quite as good as the first one, but definitely right up there.
Hmm. Yep.
Anyways,
Anyways,
it's the
this
police.
was
They're the
gonna be a
most
short
important.
episode.
Anything else?
No, I bagged on it enough. I feel bad for bagging on Kevin Costner, but I don't know this. The scene where today's about breaking records. He's fast. He's fast. He's fast. I was like, what are you trying to do with this scene? Like, oh, I get it. You're trying to just embarrass him for it doesn't work. It doesn't work the way you want it to. The editor should have said, we can do a better cut of this movie. Anyway, that's it.
Hey, you gave this movie a D minus. Are you gonna
Uh-huh.
stand by that?
Yeah, don't watch this movie. It's a complete waste of your time. There are
That
a
would
thousand movies like it, and
you
you
that
don't
that
you
means
will get
that
nothing from this movie. You will get absolutely nothing from this movie.
you've I don't think you've ever given an F on the show.
Yeah, but
So
I want to.
so that means this is the worst movie you've ever watched while doing covered in film, or at least tied, probably with Waiting. for that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I gave Waiting a pretty bad grade.
Um,
Thanks, Cochise. Come
I
on,
think,
have some respect for yourself.
yeah, actually, when I think about it, I don't know if I'd watch this again before watching Waiting, and I hate
No, I
Waiting,
definitely watch Waiting again before I watch this again.
and I hate Waiting.
It was
All
hard to
right,
get through this movie.
well, like and subscribe, guys.
Yep. See you next week for our next thing.